Okay, so right off the bat, why don't we address the elephant in the room, which is why are you playing a private server? Um, that's a good question, because the argument that private servers, only last as long as until they get a cease and desist letter from Jagex and get shut down forever, that's a pretty good argument because why are you putting hundreds or maybe thousands of hours into something that is entirely, temporal? It could be wasted at any time. Um, and that's a good question. And I think my best answer would be because it is fun. Um, but obviously, that is not a satisfactory answer for RuneScape players who hate having fun and don't understand what fun is. Um, so to give a more elaborate reasoning behind it, is, there are a lot of things that are appealing about this server in particular, Lost City. One being that it is extremely authentic as a preservation server. Its aim isn't to do anything that RuneScape didn't do, So when you're playing it, you are getting the as close to an authentic experience of what it would be like to play in 2004. And going along with that is the fact that we're getting to relive the updates as they came out. Like, I remember some of these updates from when I was a kid happening. Um, so that's just a really cool thing to experience. Regardless of how much time you're putting in, I think it's worth it just to log into the server just to see, the visuals, the game world, how much more medieval all the game and character models are, the item models, the old animations. Um, it's just really fun, just for that reason alone, which I guess you could say is nostalgia, but in my case, a lot of this stuff I didn't experience on release. Like, I think first started playing like late 2005, early 2006. So some of my earliest memories of updates, like, I guess like hunter's skill maybe, or construction, I think. And like the update of this interface to like the 2007 sort of interface, or some of the earliest updates I remember. Um, Another cool thing is just doing all the quests. I recently finished Legends Quest on this account, finished all the quests, and it's just awesome to see what the little subtle differences are between all the quests. Like, pretty well known one is like Goblin Diplomacy starts in like the bar in Port Sarim instead of just talking to the goblins. Um, a lot of like the area models, landscapes are a little different. Quest dialogue is different. Like Priest in Peril, they are not woke like old school RuneScape. So they keep the line that King Roll says like you're mentally deficient for killing the dog in the temple. Um, Secondly, the second like big reason why I wanted to play this server, or at least try it out for a little bit, is because I'm quite bored of old school RuneScape. I've maxed two Ironmen on old school RuneScape, which is probably like, I don't know, 10,000 hours. Um, and it's just progressively getting less and less fun for me personally. I think the state of the game is amazing, actually, like from an objective standpoint. The numbers are great. Um, they're bringing in new players. I think the updates that they're doing are catered very much towards the player base that they have now. And I think people who enjoy the game as it is, are enjoying the updates that are coming into the game. But for me personally, and the things that I enjoy about old school, uh, it's just become very sloppy to me. Like the recent golem crafting is a great example of something that I really don't like about skilling, where you're not like processing resources in a way that are like beneficial towards other skills. The XP rates are incredibly high. It just seems sort of like disconnected from, um, or unintegrated among like the rest of the skills. Uh, Also, another factor in this is that I've only played Ironman accounts since like late 2014. And Ironman mode has changed tremendously. It has not only gotten less difficult, which wouldn't be a problem in and of itself. Like, I think there's good difficulty and bad difficulty in this game. Um, Things don't have to be needlessly difficult to make them rewarding. Um, but friction is inherently part and should be part of Ironman mode. And a lot of friction has just become totally removed. And this was talked about by Jukebox Romeo and Sebe on the recent podcast, which I thought was really good. You guys should listen to. Where it used to be the case with Ironman mode, where you would have like goal, like letter D, and you would start at point A, and you used to have to go B, C before you reach D. Now you can just sort of like go to a boss and skip right to point D, where you're getting all your resources, you're getting the items, nothing needs to involve like side grinds or anything. Um, and that to me, as someone who's always sort of enjoyed the skilling and resource gathering part of Ironman mode, has taken away a lot of fun for the game. Um, for me personally. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing for like the enjoyment of the game for like the vast majority of players, and I understand why it is not appealing for people to like do what I'm doing right now, for example, in mining rune essence. Um, and they would much rather just get like tens of thousands at a time from a Chambers of Xeric. But for me, what Ironman mode became, after maxing is either I go for like post max XP, which I don't really have a ton of interest in, or doing PVM and RNG grinds, which RNG grinds were never a thing that I really enjoyed. I do like PVM. I like the challenge of it. Like I like Inferno. I like Coliseum. Um, I like doing bosses, but as far as like putting hundreds of hours into chasing an item, um, it just doesn't really seem that fun for me long term. Um, so mostly I'm just logging in to like do the new updates and quests that come out. I'll definitely do raids 4 when it comes out just to try it out. Um, but I'm at a point with my gear and progression on that account, my main Ironman, that like I can really do any update that comes out. Uh, so I think I'm pretty much just putting it on pause, maybe AFKing stuff on the side, and waiting for updates and just doing updates as they come out because I still love the game. It's just not really at a place where I enjoy it, and that could change. As everybody knows, you don't quit RuneScape, you just take breaks. And I'm not saying I'm stopping playing old school entirely. I still absolutely love the game, and I think what they're doing with it is pretty good. But just as I said, it's a matter of taste for me. So as far as this account and game goes, this is obviously unofficial Ironman mode because Ironman did not exist in 2004. The only trades that I've done on this account are for Shield of Rav and Hero's Quest. I tipped someone 25k for Hero's Quest because I couldn't find anyone for like 6 hours, so I gave someone 25k to do it with me. So I guess you could call me a fake iron, but I think it's weird because there's so many times in this game where someone will come up to me asking like, "Do you have an iron bar?" And I'm so conflicted because I'm like, I want to give you the iron bar, but I don't want to like ruin my Iron Man status. But it's a self-imposed restriction anyway. It's not like it really matters in the end. Like I know personally, I'm doing it for my own enjoyment. Like it wouldn't really take away anything, but I haven't actually done any of that anyway. So the other thing that's appealing about Iron Man mode on this game, Lost City in particular, is a lot of people have a really big problem. There's a lot of drama with how they introduce rares into this game. Rares were introduced like on an RNG basis, and there's a lot of drama with like how that was done. And people feel like as you can't like the people that got the rares just got lucky and now have like billions to spend on resources, and like all the top players are hoarding all the resources and everything. And I think some of those are valid criticisms, especially if you're like, if you were trying to be competitive, like if you didn't get a rare, you're kind of screwed. But I'm just totally removed from that, playing as an Ironman on this game, um, which is nice. I don't have to worry about it at all. I will say that playing in Ironman mode in 2004 is actually remarkably similar to how Ironman mode was on release, which I absolutely loved back in 2014. Um, like people like Layla Dor or Osiris, um, say Aloe, like original great Ironman skillers and PBMers that I really looked up to at the time. You know, sort of like I view that as like the golden age of Ironman when like Layla Dor was making a spreadsheet for killing like, I don't know, 100,000 skeletal wyverns for rune essence. Um, it just it really draws out the beauty of Iron Man mode in a way that old school now doesn't, because every resource you gather through skilling is incredibly important and meshes so well with all the other skills. Every skill feeds into each other in a really nice synergized way. Like rune crafting is incredibly useful for natures and law runes and all your runes, really, even elemental runes you can rune craft. And because there are only a few servers, so you can't really world hop to buy out shops that effectively. Um, Mining feeds crafting. You can smith and fletch darts and knives. Wood cutting for fire making and fletching, obviously. Miscellanea is coming soon, so that'll be really exciting for maples. Um, Fishing and cooking, obviously. You can kill chaos druids for your herbs for herblore. Farming will be out at some point in the future, probably in like a year and a half or 2 years. Um, but just like putting skilling as something that's like actually necessary for progression, it sort of forces you to think long term and macro efficiently and plan out uh, routes of how you want to take on certain skills. Like, for example, now I'm working on 80 crafting for glory. And what I'm planning on doing is mining gold and superheating it, and then crafting gold amulets and alching the gold amulets while I do Brimhaven agility. That's like a lot of steps. The first step is crafting a load of nature runes and law runes. Um, and it's really nice to set a goal and then have to plan out all the steps and do calculations. Like I absolutely love that part of Ironman mode, and it brings such a nice sense of progression to what you're doing. Uh, so just to go over like what I've done on this account so far, I finished Legends Quest yesterday, actually. Um, and my original goal with this server was just to do Legends Quest and not to go any further unless I had like a lot of fun. I just wanted to do like the demo version of the game, which to me would be like completing all the quests that are out right now. Um, and that proved to be like actually a pretty difficult and long goal. I'm not sure how many hours it took. I'll check on my adventures log and maybe put it in the video title or something. Um, but there are a lot of requirements for irons for Legends Quest that are a little more difficult for mains. Like for example, you need a soul rune for Legends Quest, for the door puzzle in the dungeon, and you need 66 magic to get a soul rune because you need to get in here to the Magician's Guild in order to buy a soul rune. There are a few other things like that. Like I needed a rune axe, and I did hard clues or level 3 clue scrolls for a ruby, um, for that rune axe. Thankfully, it only took me 2 level 3 clue scrolls off Hellhounds. Um, and it was fun. Like, I thieved paladins for chaos runes and then leveled my magic to 66, casting Wind Bolt on the Hellhounds in order to get hard clues and also get my magic to 66. So like that's a great example of like, you're training up skills to reach goals and every other skill is feeding every other skill. So it's just awesome. My combat stats now came almost entirely through Chaos Druids and quests, a little bit of giants and moss giants to get some prayer levels for 43 prayer. Ranged, I smithed a ton of darts and threw them at Chaos Druids. My range is pretty low. I was like one ranged until I needed the requirement for Temple of Ikov, but then I realized that you don't even need that requirement to do Temple of Ikov. You can just cheese it with darts. Um, so yeah, prayer I did. I buried all the bones at Chaos Druids, and then, like I said, I did a little bit of giants. Magic, I did a lot of superheating. I crafted like around 5,000 nature runes and did like a little mini mining iron and superheating grind to get my mining and smithing requirements for heroes and legends. And then I smith those all into darts, and that helped with fletching. It helped with range. Um, Agility, I did, the standard route of Trino Village, Grand Tree, Tourist Trap, um, Edgeville Monkey Bars, and then I did Brimhaven while alking stuff. Brimhaven isn't really that bad if you're alking compared to the Will the Agility course, because basically it's better than doing nothing while you're alking. You're getting like 25-ish thousand experience per hour in agility while you're getting a lot of time to alk there, which is nice. And it is actually what I plan to do with the 63,000 gold amulets I have from this 80 crafting grind. Um, let's see, what's next? Herblore. Herblore is an interesting skill on here because we don't have farming yet. So it's all Chaos Druids, basically, or herbs from any other monster drops. And then on an Iron, obviously, you have to gather all the secondaries yourself. The secondaries actually aren't even that bad. Eyes of Newt for Guams and Irits are pretty easy to get. Limpert roots are easy to get from hobgoblins. Snapegrass you can pick up and farm pretty easily on Mudskipper Point, or not Mudskipper Point, whatever that place is by the Crafting Guild, the peninsula, the Hobgoblin Peninsula. Unicorn horns you can do in the Wildy and get a decent amount per hour. Chocolate dust you can buy in the Grand Tree. So it's really not that bad. Obviously, it takes a long time and there's a lot of steps to it, and it feels bad that you're not like gaining XP while you're getting secondaries. But if you have like a stack of alks that you need to do, you can do that while getting secondaries. Or Michael Unz, who makes videos on the server, like you fire make on the way from Draenor Bank to the magic shop in Port Sarim to buy Eye of Newt. So there are ways you can like multi-skill and make the gathering of secondaries pretty efficient. Thieving, I got 82 thieving for the Yanilla Agility Dungeon Chaos Druids, which actually was proved to be like stupid because they're like the most packed Chaos Druid spot in the entire game. Because like only nerds have 82 thieving, and the nerds now are camping Chaos Druids nonstop in every world at that spot. So I killed almost all of my Chaos Druids in the Ardoin Chaos Druid Tower anyway, even though I have 82 thieving. But that was nice, and I thieved quite a few paladins for Chaos runes, as I said, which seems pretty good. I might do that to stock up on Chaos runes for the Iron and Steel dragons, for the dragon plate legs, which I think is coming in the next update. Crafting, I spun flax to 50. Then obviously, like I said, I plan to do gold amulets to 80. Just mining gold at Brimhaven, teleporting to Artie. It's a pretty nice route, although it'll take like 350 hours of just like the mining and superheating part. So that'll definitely be like a very substantial grind, but I'll get into the 90s and like mining, smithing, magic just from that grind, which will be pretty amazing. Let's see. Next, fletching. I chopped 15,000 willow logs to get 70 fletching. I also fletched quite a bit of iron darts. I don't really have a goal with fletching and woodcutting at the moment, because you can get like a magic short bow from Clues, which I'll probably do before getting 80 fletching. And I'll probably just keep chopping willows, honestly. I don't really feel like chopping yews. It just feels so slow and inefficient. And like with my AFK time, I think I'd rather fish lobsters for Slayer, for food during Slayer. I think that would be a better use of my time because like GP actually isn't even that useful until Miscellanea comes out. And even then, I think like chopping and fletching yews and picking flax and stringing them and alking them, I think would be less efficient than just thieving for Miscellanea. Um, Mining, I mined a bunch of iron. Like I said, I think like 5,000 iron into iron bars superheated. That's how I did smithing as well. Fishing, I did fly fishing to 68 for the fishing guild. Cooking, that's just from cooking the trout and salmon and lobsters that I fished. This is actually a pretty high rank in cooking that I have just because there's no cook X. So you have to click each individual fish on the range or fire. So it's tedious and not a lot of people are doing it. But on mobile, it's actually pretty easy to do. So you don't have to like move your mouse. You can just use your two thumbs to click the bottom fish in your inventory and click on the range with your other thumb. Fire making is a pretty useless skill in this unless you're doing Shades of Morton, I guess. Um, but I'll probably train that up for total levels and ranks at some point. Um, yeah, so those are the skills. Not incredibly impressive. Over 1100, which I think is a pretty decent rank actually on the server. But ranks don't really matter. There's not that many people playing the server. So I think like chasing ranks is sort of pointless. Like if I were doing this for ranks, I would play a main, not an iron, because there's like no official Ironman mode and no separate high scores. So I'm never gonna be able to compete. And I wouldn't really want to anyway. But yeah, let's take a look at the bank. I just organized this today because I'm done with Legends Quest, so I can actually go through the bank. There's the cash stack. That's mostly from thieving and selling my cut willow longbows to the general store. My runes, nothing too impressive here. I've used a lot of runes for superheating. These are almost all from Chaos Druids. I think entirely from Chaos Druids, or maybe some from Moss or regular Giants. Let's see. Got my clue scroll stuff, some gems. I might do some battle staff making in the future. That's why I have this set up here. It seems like a pretty decent way to get some crafting XP. I think I'll do the law rune crafting method where you telegrab seaweed on Entrana while you're crafting. Stock up on seaweed and then do buckets of sand and make the unpowered orbs, charge them at the air obelisk, and then make the air battle staffs. See, just resources, nothing too crazy. Yep, I got lucky on a nature talisman. I actually got that from a chaos druid pretty early into my chaos druid grind, which is really, really nice. I'm glad I didn't have to like grind joggers for that or anything. A decent amount of food here for when I go back to thieving. I use like almost all of my herblore supplies to get my herblore level for Legends Quest. And I actually overshot it quite a bit. I'm 53 herblore. I think I got to like 49 herblore instead of 45. Got some potions, super attack sprayer, energies, anti-poisons, regular attack potions, some serum 207s, and some sacred oils from Shades. I might stock up on these and do like a grind for split bark, which I think would be pretty cool to have. I think it's the best in slot magic armor until Mystics comes out. Got some prayer gear, quest items that I think might be useful. I got a barrel of naphtha ready to go. My scabbard map if I want to go in the Ogre Enclave. I have the Ferminic Helms, EDS, Halberd, Legendscape, some Black D-Eyed from the 2 clue scrolls I did. Majorina is done. Some Rune Armor. Rune Kite is also from Hard Clues. Up 3 clues, I should say. Did the Strength Ammy, Dragon Long, Dragon Battle Axe, Dragon Mace if I ever want to go do KQ. Rune Sim, holding on to that because it's better DPS at some spots against low defense monsters. Still have my Amulet of Accuracy, so I cleaned out the bank quite a bit. I think everything I have in here is actually like going to be useful at some point. Um, I didn't want to keep anything in here that I'm not going to use because bank space is severely limited on this game. Um, but yeah, that's the bank. Rune Axe. That was what I was doing the clue scrolls for in the first place, so I got one. Um, I'd like to do more clues in the future so I can get a placeholder for this. That would be very nice. So I can just like organize the bank a little bit better. Willow logs, I started with 15k, got to 70 with like 14k. So I might use these for fire making just to get my total levels up a little bit more. Those are the iron darts. I still have like 31k to fletch. Um, that'll get me quite a bit of range levels if I ever feel like going back to Chaos Druids with them. Um, Maybe getting up to 70 so I can get rid of the green d'hide and just use my black d'hide. That would be nice. Got some strange fruits. I might try to actually use these Serum 207s for that weird herb lore method where you cure the afflicted. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think my goal now is going to be incredibly long. I have to mine like 130,000 rune essence uh, for my superheats and alks on my way to 80 crafting. And then I'm going to mine like 65,000 gold ore, superheat it all, and then craft it into gold amulets. And then I'm going to alch them all at Brimhaven Agility. So yeah, I think like future goals after that, once I have glories, I think I'm going to be done with runecrafting until the Abyss comes out. Because the Abyss and pouches is just going to make runecrafting so much easier. But I want to get glories unlocked so that I can start stocking up on glories for when the Abyss comes out, because it's so nice to have like a bunch of glories for doing that method. Um, I think I'll probably, after the glory, go back to Chaos Druids for a while, try to get like super energies, stock up on super energies and other potions for Slayer, prayer potions, and super attacks. I'll probably just Dragon Battle Axe spec and super attack as my boosts for Slayer. I want to do like an easy clue grind at some point on men. Men are pretty good for herbs and easy clues, and get my Zami book filled up. And then after that, I think if Slayer's not out, I'll work on doing Fire Giants, try to get like a Dragon Med Helm, maybe some KBD, try to get a Dragon Square Shield, and just like try to get like the best in slot gear that I possibly can. Um, Nothing is like too crazy. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to like find a world to do Calphite Queen like as an Ironman. I'm not sure how busy KQ is, if it's just like constantly being camped by teams that are like splitting it. I'm not even actually sure if it's how feasible soloing Calphite Queen is. Um, but the Dragon Chain isn't actually even that big of an upgrade over the Rune Plate body. Um, so we'll see about that. And I also just want to do more hard clues. Um, just because I'd like some fashionscape, like I'd like some god armor, maybe some gilded. So at some point I'll do a hard clue grind. Um, as far as videos or rambles on this account, I think I'll just do like a ramble when I achieve something notable. Like maybe when I get glories unlocked, I'll do a ramble going over everything that I did, or maybe I'll make a ramble about the updates that come out. I'm not sure how much I'm going to be playing actively. Um, Mining Essence is pretty AFK, so I can do this sort of on the side while I'm working or doing other things. So that's another nice thing about the server is it's very easy to play on your phone browser, and it works decently well for a lot of methods. Mining Essence is pretty easy on your phone, so it just makes it pretty easy to get some more boring grinds done while you're like watching something or doing whatever. So yeah, there's the Lost City Ironman. Been having a lot of fun with it. I mean, this account is less than a month old, and these are the stats, so you can probably tell I've been playing pretty hard. So I'll probably slow down a little bit as I get more into these longer grinds now that I'm done with all the quests. But Definitely gonna have a lot of fun enjoying the next updates. Definitely when Slayer comes out, that's just gonna be a blast. Um, I'll probably have to think about what my pre-Slayer goals are, like what I want to have ready to go. Definitely a lot of potions, a lot of food. So maybe I'll do some AFK fishing and cooking, stock up on lobsters for Slayer. My gear is pretty good. Like it's not no none of the upgrades are going to be that substantial. Um, Doing Chaos Druids for potions also get my stats up a little bit. So like I'll probably have 70 attack, maybe strength in the 80s, get up to at least 60, 65, 70 defense. Um, but yeah, I really don't know like long term if like my goals are to max because maxing this kind of account Ironman style is an incredibly long commitment. So and also this server could get shut down tomorrow for all I know. So it doesn't really matter. And I honestly, I wouldn't even be sad. Like I've had a lot of fun, and it's just like real life. You never know when you're gonna die. You never know when the private server is gonna get shut down. So you just have to sort of enjoy things as they are, live in the moment a little bit, enjoy the methods, rather than placing so much emphasis on the end goal. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.